Hello crafty friends, and welcome to my channel. I'm Adrienne Bosey of Alice Scraps Wonderland. Today I'll be showing you how to make this vignette with some of the new Sizzix 49 in Market layered stamp and die sets. Before we get into that, I just wanted to show you this card front I created with the butterfly I'll be using today and one of the other layered stamps in this release. So there are lots of opportunities with this release no matter the type of paper crafter you are. Today, I'm using the painted pencil leaves and painted pencil butterflies to create this vignette. And what I love about these two sets is that they have coordinating dies to cut the elements out with. I'm building my vignette in one of the Tim Holtz square vignette boxes. I'm making a background for the box, so I take measurements of the inside, which is just over 4 1/4 inches square. I trimmed down some Sizzix smooth white cardstock using my scoring board and trimmer tool. In this tutorial, I'm doing a lot of stamping, and each stamp layer will have multiple impressions, so you'll need a stamping platform for this technique. I'm using the Sizzix stencil and stamp tool. I'm creating a background on the white cardstock with the splatter stamps from both of the stamp sets. Since these are new stamps, I prime them by rubbing an archival ink pad over them. This will help your Distress Oxides apply more evenly on the stamp. Even though we want a more even coverage, we aren't concerned with perfection here. You can see that I've stamped each one multiple times before moving on to the next stamped image, and my final stamp impression adds in that watercolor look. Simply spritz your stamp with water. You can do this to whatever ink is left over on your stamp for a lighter look, or for a bolder, more colorful look, put fresh ink on the stamp before wetting it. Some of my stamp impressions are on the lighter side, while others I've layered more times for a bolder color. I've also used 2 different Distress Oxides to help create more variation. So while you watch me stamp a bit more, let's talk about why I love the Sizzix stencil and stamp platform. I love it because there's no lip on the base, so you can even stamp on a 12 by 12 sheet of paper for scrapbook layouts. Plus, it can also accommodate acrylic and rubber stamps without any special accessories. And if you haven't heard yet, there is a new tool coming out soon for the stamping platform that I'm really excited about. Once I'm done with the background, I set it aside and stamp out the 2 inner layers of the smaller butterfly and leaves. I again use the same technique of adding water to the stamp for the final impression of each stamp layer. Then I dry these 2 stamp layers with a heat tool just to set the ink before doing the outline layer with embossing powder. If your paper is a little warped from heating it, use a brayer to press it smoothly back into the sticky grid of the stamping platform. I brush my paper with a bit of anti-static powder, line up the outline stamps, and then stamp them with a clear embossing ink. I apply Ranger's superfine black embossing powder to the ink and heat set it with my Sizzix heat tool. Next, I die cut these stamped and embossed images with the coordinating dies. Since the paper is a bit warped from heating again, I use plenty of mint tape to hold these dies in place. I want to make these layered die cuts, but I want a custom matching paper, so I blend one of the green and one of the coral inks onto some white cardstock, spritz both with water to make the magic of Distress Oxides happen, dry it, then die cut the leaf sprig and small butterfly out again. To prep the vignette box and give it a shabby chic look, I paint the inner corners and sides with Sizzix creamy matte acrylic paint in white. Then I dry brush the outside of the box. To use up some of the leftover paint on my multimedia mat, I add a spritz of water to the paint and mix it up. I load up a paintbrush and tap it over my stamped and die-cut leaves and butterflies. Using Sizzix Express Glue, I glue the background paper into the vignette box. Using a brayer will help laminate it inside the box, and a bone folder tool will help you get the glue all the way to the corners and edges of the paper for excellent adhesion. To add a little more dimension without using a ton of foam adhesive, I shape the back layer of the leaves with some shaping tools. Remember to start with light pressure and one of the larger tool sizes, and work your way slowly toward more and more dimension so you don't tear your die cut. Using liquid glue, I adhere the stamped and embossed leaf die cut to the back layer of the die, putting glue only on the stem. The butterfly gets dimension with some 2mm foam adhesive. To give me more time to line up the layers better, I apply liquid glue to the foam adhesive so I have a chance to slide it around a bit to match the layers up better. Once the glue on the butterfly is set, I fold up the top wings for more dimension. To add another element to this vignette, I fill up one of the Tim Holtz test tubes with Sizzix sequins and beads, as well as the Tim Holtz bubbles. Then I tie some ribbon around the test tube and add a few dots of glue to the cork to help hold the cork in place. I add a strip of foam adhesive to the back of the test tube to help pop it up in the box. I want a really good adhesive to hold it in since it's heavier, so I use some Prima Heavy Body Gel, applying it to the foam strip, then placing it in the right side of the box. The leaves get some foam adhesive on the back as well to pop them up. I use a combination of 1 and 2mm thick foam adhesive, layering some of them so I get more dimension on a few of the leaves. To hide the gap between the bottom of the leaf sprig and the bottom of the box, I add some Prima Marketing paper flowers in a little cluster using more heavy body gel. Next, I add several layers of foam adhesive to the butterfly, then place it over the leaves. I love how the butterfly moves when you push on one side of the wings. A finishing touch is to add a few gems. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial and that it inspires you to create something with these pretty layered stamps from Sizzix. Don't forget to like this video and to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Until next time, happy crafting!